welcome to the Todayish podcast, where we are going to dish out all of the ish.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Dani Love. James didn't introduce himself.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is James Lee, and here with my lovely co-host.
Yes, Dani Love. Although I think the floppy hat gives it away. We know it's James, but we have so much that we're going into today. This was an impromptu.
Well, it's not impromptu. This is a 33rd episode. We had to do it
in person. But there's just so much that's been going on this week. We're going to be talking about some arrests that shockingly have been made in the Epstein files.
Hell yeah.
The Wexner deposition, some conspiracy theories, which I'm all about, and some alien shit, which I'm like so excited to get into.
But the alien shit is a distraction.
Well, all I'm going to say, I don't want to, look, don't prompt me to get into this before, before we're supposed to, but people are now being murdered.
Okay, so you don't think it's a distraction? Well, okay, let's
No, I do.
You do.
But I think that the narrative and the information that's going to come out about the aliens is not going to be like what scientists know to be true and people that studied this, so they have to Clinton some people.
I got you.
Yes.
Well,
great show ahead.
Well, that's great news, and thank you once again to the Patreon members for bringing the news to the world, helping us bring the news to the world. So appreciate everybody sign up on Patreon. If you can't, no worries. YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We are climbing. We're going to get to that 100K
this year
in no time.
The year of the fire horse. Happy New Year's, everybody. 2026, the year of the fire horse. We're moving fast, and it's going to be a great year. I think we should start off with the arrest yesterday of Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew is down. Oh, look at that photo right there. My goodness.
It's a video, but...
Wait, this is a video? We're going to get
I don't know.
He's going to move or no?
I don't know. Let's see.
Is he going to
Oh, no, it's just the photo.
It's not.
But what a photo it is.
Wait, can you go to the other one that is, there's one that I have in here. It's the exact same photo, but it's on the sun. Just go to the one that says the sun.
Well, before I do, can I just show you who I think this photo looks like? Peter Pettigrew.
Yeah, zoom in on that guy. Zoom in. It's tiny. Oh.
Do you remember him?
I do.
Harry Potter. He was Ron Weasley's rat that worked for Voldemort.
Yeah.
Anyways. And I'm a big Harry Potter fan. And then we found out he was Ron Weasley's rat. And he's disgusting. And he looks so much like... I mean, look at the connections.
In that moment, yes.
Very similar.
The rat was like, I can't remember exactly the story of the rat. Was he a bad guy? He's a bad guy.
Bad.
But Ron Weasley's rat is like, he loved his rat though, didn't he?
Yeah, I know, but Peter, this other guy,
yeah,
Prince Andrew.
So he just was his rat for many years, and then
to spy on Harry Potter for Voldemort. Did you not read the books or?
I read the book. It's been a long time. Okay, I've had other things.
What about watch the movies?
I watched all the movies.
How many times?
A couple of times. I liked watching the first couple of movies, and then it gets real dark. It gets really dark.
Fun fact, I love Harry Potter, and I've probably watched the movies, each movie 20 times, and I've read all the books at least 3 times.
Really? Well, my question is, maybe you could answer this for me about Harry. We're going to take a side detour in Harry Potter for a quick second here. When in that final battle with Voldemort,
yeah,
at the castle, the kids are doing it. Where are the adults at, man? It's like kids are getting fucking killed and shit, and don't you guys have an army, like a wizardry army that's supposed to come in, take care of the situation? It's just a bunch of teenagers.
Well, Harry Potter is the chosen one.
Yes, I get why he's there, but what about?
So I mean, Dumbledore was involved.
No, Dumbledore
Snape was involved.
Dumbledore dead.
I'm just saying the professors were involved, but this was about the younger generation fighting for the future of the wizarding world, which really actually kind of connects to today.
Okay. Oh, because the wizarding world is corrupt. The army has been corrupted. So that's why they got to go to the kids. That makes sense. All right. Thank you for answering that for me. Let's go to that photo, the Sun headline, E3, because I think the caption is hilarious. Let's
Oh my gosh.
zoom in on that. It's that same photo, and it says, now he's sweating. This is based on that famous, I guess, excuse that he had back in that one interview, the first interview that he did after the whole Epstein thing came out, where he said, well, that photo with Virginia Giuffre couldn't have been me because I don't sweat.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And it says here, first royal to be held since Charles I in 1647.
What the hell did Charles I do?
I don't know. But guarantee it was bad because I don't think they were holding royals that easily back then. But that is crazy. And since all of the Epstein stuff has come out, we have had several big names step down. Key resignations, Thomas Pritzker from Hyatt. You can continue here.
Kathy Rumler, Goldman Sachs officer. Well, she was actually Obama's deputy counsel.
Yeah, everybody's like, Obama wasn't involved. Please.
Yeah. I mean, Obama maybe wasn't personally getting involved with the kid stuff, but he knew this shit was going down.
We know that he ordered thousands of hot dogs and thousands of pizzas to the White House, so he was involved.
The Sultan, Ahmed bin Suleiman, he's the one who sent, now that we know, that's been redacted, we know he was the one that said, oh, I love the torture video.
Yes.
Brad Karp, I don't know who that is, actually. We should probably look into him a little bit.
Law firm.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Paul Weiss Law. It's like one of the biggest law firms in the United States. So for him to step down, big deal. Larry Summers, we talked about him going down a while ago, which I said that would be the guy that they would take down at the highest level. It's like,
yeah,
he seems like a guy that everybody knows about. He was in multiple administrations, Clinton administration. I think it was the earliest. He was the Secretary of Treasury, I believe, and he's definitely involved in some weird shit. Peter Mendelsohn, he's that like British dude, the ambassador who's feeding Epstein classified information.
Oh my gosh.
For various financial regulatory things that were going to pass in Britain that would affect the stock market. That's why these guys are like top traders. Well, because they knew the information before everybody else.
Of course.
And one would call that, I don't know if that's insider trade, but that's definitely like advanced knowledge trading.
I mean, isn't that the definition of insider trading?
Well, insider trading,
using knowledge that you have to make bets that will benefit you. Insider trading.
Insider trading, which I think, but that's like
Martha
if you work for the
Stewart
company.
went to the clink for less than that.
I know, she did. That's what I'm saying, is these real villains don't get in that much trouble. Morgan Sweeney, that's a British, right?
Mick
These
Sweeney,
are all UK. Yeah.
Not related to Sydney.
No, Mick Sweeney, sorry. So a bunch of people not in the U.S. are getting taken down. Although I feel like what a lot of people feel is like the resignation almost is not enough at this point, right? It's like, okay, you lose your job. But people lose their job for much less, right? You talk bad to your boss, it's like, boom, you lose your job. You know, you put a video out there with a bad interview, you lose your job. I'm talking about me. But I feel like a lot of people will want more than this, and I think we deserve more than resignations, right? So what? It's like you're still rich, you're gonna still, you have your Hamptons home, whatever, or in Greenwich, wherever these people live.
Yeah, it's like, when are we gonna get arrests in the United States, and will that ever happen? There are people that we have read in the files that we already knew about, right? We already knew about Bill Clinton. We already knew about Bill Gates, but yet nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, Hillary Clinton went out saying that they're just implied because they were doing charity together. I actually have a clip of this if we want to watch it.
Oh, this is one of those things. I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein, but I just did business, or he was just in my philanthropy group.
Yeah, we just did philanthropy together. She just did this interview on the BBC to explain their connections.
Yeah. Okay.
Watch this.
We have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it to me is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about. They are accused, and in both cases were convicted of horrific crimes against girls and women. That should be the focus.
Okay.
We have no links.
First of all, she goes, yes, Ghislaine Maxwell, I might have met her a few times. Bitch, she was at your daughter's wedding. She was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. There's the photo of Ghislaine on an aisle seat.
A good seat. Well, because you got to be there for that photo op.
Like, unbelievable. The lies.
Well, I think that's part of the whole blackmail thing. It's like later on, if you try to take me down, no, you can't do that because I was there. So that means if you take me down, you go down as well.
100%. But like, why is she's playing everybody? We got a super chat. Got to bring this over. Oops, I almost just moved our screen. How do I move this? Anyways, super chat from Megan K. Wisdom. I want to know Dani's Harry Potter house.
What is your Harry Potter
Well,
house?
if I had the sorting hat, you know, of course I want to be a Gryffindor. That's what I would say. I would say I want to be a Gryffindor.
What are you actually, though?
I think a Gryffindor. Maybe a Slytherin. Maybe a little dark side. We don't know.
Well, I mean, everybody wants to be a Gryffindor, right?
I mean, no. Some people are like happy to be Hufflepuffs or Ravenclaws.
I think I would be happy being one of those.
I feel like, yeah, you'd probably be like a Hufflepuff.
You saying that in like a derogatory way.
No,
What is that? What is
they're
that?
very smart. They're smart. I'm just
Or
saying.
Ravenclaw, or maybe I
Or
would be
Ravenclaw.
Yeah. You
Or
know?
Ravenclaw. We could ask Grok, based on all the information you know of James, what house would he be? But anyways, thank you
could
for
do
the
that.
super
You could
chat.
probably do that now.
You know, it would be a dream to just be like hanging out with HP, hanging out with Ron Weasley, Hermione. Look, in high school, I waited in line for the movies, like in the rain. I don't know if you ever did this for Harry Potter, but the movies would come out at midnight and there would be like a line wrapped around the building, and my hair naturally is like super, super curly and huge. So when I first read the books, I was like, I am Hermione. Like, this is me.
Yeah. Do we have a photo of that? We do. For the Patreon members. Sign up on
Somewhere.
Patreon.
Of me waiting in the rain? No. But my natural hair, it's out there. It comes out on vacation. Okay.
Oh, is it like Monica? This is Friends reference. Monica, the character. She was at vacation episode where her hair is like.
My hair is
this.
huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. So anyways, okay. Thank you so much for the super chat. And now you have to get it off the screen. So Hillary Clinton and all of these people, I don't know like what they, what they think we're going to fall for, that they didn't know each other and all of this stuff. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I don't think they thought these lies would come out. And this is this thing. I did the whole breakdown on Howard Lutnick where he was just lying straight into the interviewer's eyes, just with this huge, very detailed, melodramatic story about how he was disgusted by Epstein the first time he met him and never saw him again. And then it comes out that, oh boy, they were hanging out at the island with the family. They went into business together, a whole investment. So these guys just, I think, didn't know. They were so confident that these files are never going to be released that they just lied to people's faces.
And
Lex
Wexner, that's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
He's at the center of all of this, and he was actually
Deposed
yesterday.
Yes, because I was waiting for this because people have been talking about Les Wexner for years and even decades at this point in relation to Jeffrey Epstein, because the backstory is that that's how Epstein
made all of his money.
Les signed over the power of attorney to all of his finances and his companies over to Jeffrey Epstein back in the early 90s. And he gave him that Manhattan townhouse was gifted to Jeffrey Epstein by Les Wexner.
I was going to say, why is nobody gifting me any like $10, $20 million townhouses? But
well, it comes with strings.
Yes, I guess it's because I'm, not involved in a child blackmail sex trafficking ring. Thank God.
Exactly. And Les has never up to this point spoken about his relationship. All he said was, Epstein, yes, I knew him back then, but I regret my association with him. And that's all he's ever said up until a couple days ago when he was finally deposed and had to answer a couple of questions. And I think he may have potentially perjured himself in a couple of these.
Well, first we have to play the famous clip where he's talking and his lawyer leans over and has a hot mic moment saying, if you say more than 5 words, I will kill you. And by the way, the chat believes that you are a Ravenclaw. I just want to throw that out there.
Hey, Ravenclaw's not bad.
No, Ravenclaw is great. Okay, here we go.
It was just regularly done.
Answer the question.
Okay. It was just regularly
Okay,
done.
so do you know the question that was asked prior to his lawyer going in like that?
No, do you?
Yes.
What was it?
So he was talking about how Jeffrey Epstein made him hire this is back, I think, in the 80s, hire this ambassador, U.S. ambassador to Rome, or some kind of ambassador. He worked at the embassy in Rome during the 80s as his, like, house manager. And I'm like, okay.
It'd be very interesting if it was Rome.
Because of the CIA connections? That's
Well,
where I'm thinking. That's what I'm going to dig into is the CIA connections. I have a piece that's coming out later today about that, because I think everybody's, inkling is that Jeffrey Epstein was some kind of intelligence asset.
I mean, it's proven at this point.
Yeah. So then it's like, what was going on? Like, why did you hire some embassy worker to be your house manager? It's very bizarre. And given the links there, that's when the lawyer comes in and say, all right, no more.
I don't want to.
Because he was giving an answer about this, and then the lawyer cuts him off.
Yeah, I don't want to go like against my Italian heritage here because
okay.
I am a proud Italian.
This girl was not is American.
No, but Rome is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. In Italy, there are a lot of conspiracy ties.
Oh, you're talking about
with
the Vatican stuff that I don't know about?
the Vatican, what actually goes on in Venice, what went on at the Colosseum, that those were really human sacrifices going on. There's a lot of that. And then when you look at like the 13 families that are supposed to be the Illuminati, it's like 75% of them are Italian, including like the Medicis and stuff. So
Got it. Okay. That's not where I was going.
no, but that's just another layer that's interesting.
That's a layer, because I'm talking about the intelligence layer. You're talking about like bloodlines and sacrifices and all this other stuff.
Yeah, the usual stuff that I like to bring up.
But anyways, okay, so obviously Les was, so there's some
Is
interesting.
it Les or Lex?
I think it's Leslie Wexner. That's his
Oh.
full name is Leslie.
I was going
Wexner.
to say it's Lex Wex, and next we're going to be talking about FedEx.
Oh yeah, well that's what some people. I think I saw it in the chat. Somebody said Lex Wexner. It's Lex.
I think it
but
is,
It's
but-
Les, but it doesn't. I mean, it could be.
Okay, so very interesting. And
All right, so let's talk about first in terms of meeting Epstein. Let's go to that clip.
working for the Rothschilds, huh?
When you first met Epstein, how did he originally present himself to you? What services did he say he was offering?
Well, when I first met him, it was just alone. He didn't represent anything, and I didn't ask anything. I was just meeting a friend's acquaintance.
As that business relationship became closer and you eventually hired him, I assume he pitched his services in some way. What was his way of framing what he was offering to you?
I think it was his experience at an industrial level, like working for a big company like Bear Stearns, and then he had done personal work for the Rothschild family in France.
Personal wealth management, essentially?
I don't know.
So, how was he working for the Rothschild family already, even prior to knowing Les? Because we think of Epstein as climbing the social ladder after this point, but it seemed like he had already climbed quite a bit of it before.
Yes, 100%. And it is odd, right? And I just love that you used a Shadow of Ezra, my favorite X account, as a clip.
Well, they've been coming out with some fire clips.
He's
I have
been
to
for years and years.
Yeah,
But yeah, there is someone said like a Rothschild pyramid scheme. Liz Crocken, who is the queen of Pizzagate.
Yes.
She's the one that like really brought Pizzagate to everybody's attention and knows everything. She posted this, the Rothschild family at the top of the Jeffrey Epstein pyramid. You're right, Les Wexner said in his deposition, Jeffrey Epstein worked for the Rothschild family. Hillary Clinton was also answering to Lynn Forrester Day Rothschild as she was serving as our Secretary of State. In an email released by WikiLeaks, Hillary asks Lynn what, quote, penance she owes her. Lynn is also connected to Pizzagate losers James Alphinaudis and David Brock back in the early days of exposing Pizzagate in 2016 or 2017. Accounts exposing Lynn would get heavily censored or shut down. The Rothschild family are higher up in the Epstein ring. And then she adds these photos.
What is okay? So I understand it may not be possible, but thought I would check. In any event, I remain your loyal, adoring pal, Lynn. This was sent from Lynn to Hillary.
Right. And we just watched that video. She knows nothing. She knows nothing. Here's another one.
Seemed like they had like 1 degree of separation sort of thing. This is
a Rothschild.
From H to Lynn. This is from Hillary. Okay.
No, there's no degree of separation.
No degree. Well, from the Rothschilds to Epstein, that's 1 degree.
Sure, but if
Hillary, Rothschild, Epstein.
But if the Rothschilds are Jeffrey's boss, she's going to the source.
She's going to the source.
You see what I mean?
Yes. Let me know what penance I owe you. Just very interesting. I don't really understand it. Is this how elites talk all the time? Just weird coded language, I guess, things like that.
I mean, I don't know.
This is the Rothschild. This is Lynn.
Yep, and Hillary together. Although when I was driving home after our episode last week, you said you texted me, oh, like shit, we were demonetized on the episode because of the clips that I played with the music.
Yeah.
And I now am adapting their language, and I wrote back, as J.E. would say, whoops. So people better not go through our text messages. Who knows? And there's David Brock and Lynn. So anyways, just interesting.
Very interesting. And they're
stuff.
covering, and speaking of, now that you brought up the Pizzagate thing, one interesting, not interesting, but like very peculiar situation is that we haven't really talked about it, and I haven't dug deep into this, but it reminded me of that, you know, the Seth Rich, that DNC staffer who's like mysteriously killed.
Remind me.
He was the one, I think, the leaker. Because how they got these emails, the Clinton emails, was through WikiLeaks.
Yes.
Run by Julian Assange.
Yes.
And I think Julian Assange leaked it to, his source was this guy named Seth Rich in the DNC.
Oh yes, with some of the like the Department of Defense stuff, right?
Not well, all of he worked for the DNC.
Okay.
Not the Department of Defense.
Okay.
But anyways, he was then mysteriously murdered with no investigation.
Crazy. No investigation.
No investigation. We don't know what happened. The laptop is like under FBI jurisdiction. They're not going to release it. Very, very bizarre. I need to do a whole dig on that because it just reminded me of that story that I haven't really delved deep into, but I think it like sort of dovetails with this a little bit.
I mean, there's a murder I really want to talk about that we're going to get into later this episode, and I want to know if that murder is going to be investigated. But when it comes to the Clintons and their list of, you know,
these are alleged, by the way.
Are they?
Well, I'm going to say that they're, I mean, like, in terms of, like, being a Clinton body bag, yes, for legal reasons,
These are Clinton associates who died mysteriously. That's not allegedly. That is true. And this was from, I think this was the list as of, like, 2016.
Oh, this is outdated then.
Yes, but, yeah. I mean, and look at how many just bodyguards here are offed.
Well, they say that this is all coincidental.
Yeah, their favorite word. And
do you see that first name right there on the comment? Seth Rich. Boom.
So there you go. tying it all together.
Yes.
But I remember one of my first TikTok videos, because I was just new to TikTok. I accidentally went viral. And one of the first videos that I did that was ever taken down was one of these murders.
Which one was it?
Well, they said it was a suicide.
Do you remember who?
He was a former Clinton aide. I'd have to scan the list, but he shot himself, but he was also tied up with an electrical wire to a tree. So kind of difficult to do both, you know?
Interesting.
So how do you do that? You tie yourself.
Well, look, many weird things can happen. You can shoot yourself with double bullets, 2 bullets, suicide. These are all things that they tell us it's quite possible to happen.
Right. Just like, it's very possible that, Charlie's neck didn't explode with a 30-06. I mean, an
Yes.
antique. Yeah, it's just.
They say that it is theoretically possible. I haven't seen anybody, and like the people who have conducted those tests, with the, whatever they call the silicone, like body double things, they're like, oh, that's not accurate. Like the human neck responds differently. So basically at this point, they're like, unless you shoot another human neck with that gun, like all of this is not evidence. Like all the people who are doing all these ballistics tests are like, no, those don't count because this, that, and the other. And so it's like we basically at this point have to shoot another human for them to say, oh yeah, by the way, a 30-06 would probably
think
explode.
Bill Gates is available. If we want to conduct the experiment, like talk about killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
And we are just joking, by the way. Just joking. Just joking.
Yeah.
Reiterate.
Sure.
Right? We don't want the FBI showing up saying Dani wants to murder Bill Gates.
No. Anthony Fauci is the one. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so in the files, there was. How'd you do that with your pedal? Are you pedaling the clicks?
Nope. That's you.
Oh, so.
That's your Canva. That's your automatic Canva.
Let's do it this way.
Wait, actually, before that, can we play another clip from Wexner really quick? The Maria Farmer clip, because you know a lot about her, and I think he's basically. This is where I think he may have perjured himself.
Okay, let's
take a look here.
Reportedly brought to the guest house in 1996. She stayed there for a summer and claimed she was assaulted there by Mr. Epstein and Miss Maxwell. Mr. Wexner, do you recall who Maria Farmer is?
I know her name from the press.
Did you ever meet Maria Farmer?
Never.
Is it your testimony today that you do not know whether Maria Farmer's ever stayed on your property?
That would be correct.
Do you have any reason to not believe Maria Farmer's account of being abused by Jeffrey Epstein on your property?
Objection. On his property.
All right, you can pause it here. But essentially, so he's saying that he doesn't even know who this woman is. No idea. Only heard of her through the press. And Maria Farmer literally has a driver's license with that address on it. Like she's
his address.
His address on it. So it's like you telling me a woman who's
and remind everybody who Maria Farmer is.
Well, she is one of the very vocal Epstein survivors.
She's like in that category of like Virginia Giuffre, Juliette Bryant, like one of the
early ones. Yes.
Yeah.
That have been speaking out about this for a very long time. And like, hold on a second. Like, how is a person whose primary residence is your house, do you not know this person? Very, very unlikely situation.
I guess during that video, you didn't share the screen and they watched you typing.
Oh.
Everybody's like, share the screen. We're watching James typing.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
Sorry,
it was Les's face. It wasn't anything
to write home about, yes. Well, hopefully it was a good image of me typing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure it was. Well, they're all lying. That's just all that proves. We really got nothing from that. But when his lawyer said to him, I'm going to kill you if you don't, say more than 5 words, answer these questions. I saw Ian Carroll retweeted that, tweeted it, and said, he's not lying, though.
Yeah, because so many people have died.
Yeah. And, that guy's, he's old.
Including Epstein. Well, I mean, I think he's under duress. I don't know. That actually lets him out. I don't think he's under duress. I think he's, fully just lying through the skin of his teeth.
I'm just saying it would be a lot easier to, heart attack, stroke, there's a lot of things you could come up with him. You don't have to suicide anybody in that situation. Did you see him there?
I see what you're saying. You're saying he's so old that it's not
Easy.
Inconceivable that he would just croak and die
The
the next
stress
day.
of these depositions, all of a sudden, that's what happens.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong about that. But, and also another part, we don't have to play this clip, but he says that the FBI never spoke to him about Epstein. And we have Kash Patel of the FBI.
Well, I believe that.
But they're saying they investigated it.
I mean, they've said a lot of things.
They actually just said yesterday, Les Wexner is not a suspect, or he's not a part of this thing because we already investigated Les Wexner many years ago. And now he's telling us they never spoke to me. So I guess somebody's lying. They're both lying. But
Dementia coming on.
I don't know how you do an investigation, a proper investigation.
Oh my God, it's going to be.
Without speaking to the person.
We've found some inconsistencies. Les Wexner has been diagnosed with late onset dementia.
Early onset, because he has had dementia for many years up to this point. Because he doesn't know anything.
Well,
right? He can't remember anything.
I'm just saying if it
right?
came
He can't
on
remember
now,
who Maria Farmer was because he had dementia many years.
It's very easy to see where things are going.
Yeah.
And the dementia card is coming soon.
You think so?
I think dementia or something.
And let's not forget his ties to Israel. Okay, I have to bring that up. Les Wexner, big funder of Zionist causes through the Wexner Foundation, the birthright trips. Those are funded through him. Various diplomatic relationships, big funder of AIPAC. And this is one of the reasons why people have brought up they can't really take him down because he's so powerful. He's so entrenched in the power structure.
And what about the Abercrombie and Fitch?
Well, he didn't know anything about that. But yes, he did hire Mike Jeffries, the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, who ended up using the company's modeling agency as a recruitment tool for sex trafficking. Yes, there's documentaries about that. But he didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, he had no idea.
No
Crazy.
idea that he.
And we all remember. And
also Victoria's Secret. I mean, this guy owned Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, Limited, Abercrombie. So these are all
Limited 2?
the teenage one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are all prime avenues for human trafficking, and you telling me he didn't know anything about anything?
Dementia.
Ridiculous.
That's what's going to happen. Okay, so switching topics just a little bit. I believe Epstein is alive. Made this very clear.
and I'm in the 1 to 5% range.
Okay, great. So,
because I'm a normie, I don't know what's going on.
Yes. Well, I don't think you're a normie, but this week since we last recorded, there was a FedEx account that the DOJ released, and then they took the files back, and then they, people screenshotted them, the internet did what it did.
Okay, yeah, you're going to have to, yes. You told me about this yesterday.
Yes.
I was a little bit suspect. I'm like, what do you mean his FedEx account was being used?
So his FedEx account was being used. You can see here, put it on the screen. And I'm not this is as big as it's going to get, guys, so zoom in. Customer information, Jeffrey Epstein.
And you're saying this was from the DOJ?
Yes.
And you can go on the website and still find this, or it's gone?
Well, today, I'm not sure. It was released, and then they pulled the files back, kind of like they did with that one document of Donald Trump early on.
Right.
They've done this a few times, but people got this, okay? So here is the account. And it's just showing that this is the customer information, and it's showing his, at this time, 2024, his old address, because the New York townhouse had been sold by now. Okay?
Okay.
And it is showing that an invoice, that transaction had happened on June 18th, 2024, which would be 5 years after his death, right? Here's the second page that was released here. And this is super interesting to me because it shows you the transaction details zoomed in here for you guys to see. Sender information, something was ordered from Gulfstream Aerospace, and the recipient was Plan D LLC. And this address is some random residential address. It's nothing flashy. It's a, estimate of about $400,000 to $500,000 little house in Kennesaw, Georgia. Is that how you would pronounce that? I'm not sure. But I go, Plan D LLC, right? It's not like this package is being shipped to Jeffrey Epstein. So we don't know that Jeffrey Epstein's alive. We just know that his account, his FedEx account that was used for many, many years when he was alive, is still being used. It could be Karina Shuliak.
Yeah.
It could be a kid of his. We have no idea who's using this account. But either way, I looked up Plan D LLC, and what do you know? This is one of Jeffrey Epstein's limited liability companies that is incorporated in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And it was used primarily to own and operate one of Epstein's private jets, specifically the Gulfstream G550. Now, weird, right? Because the sender of this FedEx receipt is Gulfstream Aerospace.
Okay.
And it's sent to an LLC that was used to own and operate Jeffrey Epstein's Gulfstream G550. Well, I did a little research, and in the files, straight off the DOJ website, redacted, we don't know who sent this, but they say that Jeffrey Epstein's N212JE jet is in a hangar at Cobb County Airport in Kennesaw, Georgia. So I look up this jet. What do you know? It's the G550. It's the same jet that LLC was incorporated for. So then I just use the address that the LLC was and the Cobb County International Airport where that jet is located. By the way, this was during rush hour, 11-minute drive, 3.6 miles away.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? Then I'm like, well, what was being sent from Gulfstream that cost $22.67 and weighed 0.9 pounds?
Human body. No, I'm kidding.
An eyeball.
No, an eyeball.
No, it turns out that this is a very common wing LED light that weighs exactly 0.9 pounds and costs $22. And its primary function to make sure there's illumination during takeoff and landing.
So pretty mundane purchase.
Which would make sense for $22, right?
Right.
Here's a picture of the jet. This was also one of the jets that was included in his Lolita Express fleet.
Yeah.
And it can go on a full tank basically anywhere in the world. It can carry up to 19 passengers, and it can go New York to Tokyo, London to Singapore, LA to Dubai, basically anywhere.
It's a nice jet.
And specifically from that Cobb County Airport, which, by the way, Cobb County Airport is no commercial flights, only private flights. It can go to basically anywhere in the world.
Okay, so that I actually just fact-checked this all, and it seems to be 100% real.
I know.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to double-check for the audience. It's like, hey, by the way, this seems like these are nobody has disputed these records that have been put out, and it is true that the DOJ has taken it off their website for some unknown reason, but nobody has disputed the contents of the shipping, and they're saying it may be due to some person that still is keeping the account active, an administrator.
And now this is, I didn't put this in my story that I did, but this is why I think it was taken offline.
Okay, why?
Screen. In 2024, Donald Trump's presidential campaign chartered the Gulfstream G550 jet with the exact same tail number.
So
Donald Trump used this jet in 2024 to campaign around the world, around the United States, and his campus said, we didn't know it was tied to Jeffrey Epstein's history at the time.
Oh, wow. This
But they
occurred.
were chartering it.
Okay. This occurred after Trump's usual Boeing 757 Trump Force One experienced mechanical issues during a rally to Bozeman. Okay, so that's why. And he used Jeffrey Epstein's jet?
This specific jet. And 2024, this FedEx account was hiring the parts.
Okay, that totally makes sense now in why it's deleted. Like you said, it's because Trump is tied to it, and they're going through and deleting all the stuff that Trump's involved in, and this purchase. So this purchase has more to do with like Trump somehow being like intimately.
I don't know.
I think this is because Trump has always said, I don't know anything about Epstein. Like we've had a falling out many years ago, this and that. But it seems like he's tied in to like his.
So here's the thing:
his accounts, like his old administrators are still having access. He's calling people. He's like, hey, can you get this for me? So he obviously still is tight with these people.
Well, yes, maybe, allegedly. We don't know, but the jet was sold to an unnamed person, right, when Jeffrey Epstein died, and we don't know who, and then it just happens to be the same jet that Donald Trump is chartering all over the place. But then also, if Jeffrey Epstein's alive, like, and this jet...
Oh, you're on the alive. Okay, yes. Yeah,
I'm on both.
Okay, yeah.
Like, Donald Trump, like, hey, take it to Morocco and then like bring it back. Like my plane had an issue and I need to take it to Pennsylvania Butler where I'm going to be shot in the ear.
Okay, but isn't that like so brazen though? Because if he's alive, let's just say he is, wouldn't they want to keep it like more hush hush? Wouldn't they want to be more careful about it versus... Why?
Nobody's being arrested. Nobody's going to jail. There's no repercussions for any of these people that we know were involved in Pizzagate, child sex trafficking. Do they really care to hide it, or are they just above the law?
Yeah, I might be giving these people too much credit. Because I always say, if you're trying to do something devious, deceptive, wouldn't you be better at it? Right? That's what I'm always thinking is, why wouldn't you have accounted for these things later on? Why would you use the same account? Why would you start another account? Why are you buying it?
Because that is an administrative pain in the ass.
to start a new FedEx account?
Well, maybe they had to fire the assistants to lay low, and so he didn't know how to start a new FedEx account. But interestingly, 10 days before his arrest, Jeffrey Epstein was trying to wire $27.7 million through his Charles Schwab to buy a luxury place in Morocco. Schwab processed the transfers, including one where the account didn't even have sufficient funds. They filed a suspicious activity report with the U.S. Treasury 7 days after his arrest, not before, despite Epstein being under intense public scrutiny since 2018. Needless to say, the deal fell through and the palace has since been sold to someone else. It was sold to someone else, unnamed, off the record, not long after this, by the way. And if we go back to where that G550 could go on a full tank of gas, guess what?
Anywhere?
Directly to Morocco.
Well, it could go anywhere. I mean, it doesn't have to go
Not
directly.
anywhere.
Well, so we should be able to track that jet, right? Somebody if you want to pull up a super chat here, somebody is claiming...
Oh, you have to clip to me.
They know.
Dani, he's still alive. I know a way to find him.
Well, tell us, Ryan. How do we find him?
Super chat. Ryan Burton. Well, he said in quotes. So is he quoting himself or he's saying, I think I know a way to find him? Because I don't.
No, the quotation is not, he didn't write the quotation. That's just how it appears.
Oh, okay, good. Because I was like, not me. I'm not suicidal. So anyways, you're better at getting these chats off. But thank you so much, Ryan Burton, for the super chat. And please continue on in the messages and let us know how you know how to find him. But look, I think we all know I am of the camp that Jeffrey Epstein is alive and Ghislaine Maxwell has been swapped out with a body double.
Yes. You have, I think one of your videos went very, very viral with that Ghislaine Maxwell breakdown.
Shall we get into it?
I think so. I was going to say one more thing about this
FedEx
thing, but then now I forgot. So moving forward.
Well, whenever that happens to me, I have like a thought and then it goes away or I'm thinking of something. I like to think that there's a little Dani inside my brain and she's just busy filing through the filing cabinets.
Yes.
So if little James gets the file, just
Not little Saint James. Just
just for clarification, not little St. James. But what do you think about Ghislaine Maxwell? No, we don't need to go to this.
We're not going. Oh, you're just asking
you.
me what do I think about Ghislaine Maxwell? I mean, I think she's in there. In jail.
Okay.
I don't think she's rucking about doing stuff. Like I said, I am a normie. I have seen your video. I've seen many other breakdowns of Ghislaine with the ears, right? The shape, the position, the droopiness of the nose. I've seen it all.
Well, it's actually less of a droop nose, but let's get into it.
Yeah. Isn't it like the nose shape changed?
Yes. So on February 9th, that was last Monday, I believe, Ghislaine Maxwell went into court to be deposed. And she pled the fifth. She had a congressional hearing. She pled the fifth. And this is the picture they got of her. This Austin Powers Temu Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay? And I knew this was going to happen because right before this, the DOJ was dropping these videos of Ghislaine, of her in jail back in 2020 when she was her skinny ass self. The DOJ released this footage and they said, oh, this is Ghislaine in jail.
So do you think this is Ghislaine here?
What,
or
this Rosie O'Donnell Flintstone?
No, this is not Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie isn't.
I mean, Ghislaine
Rosie's
Maxwell
big.
was she ain't look like no skinny girl.
Oh, okay, I guess we have different definitions of.
I'm just saying. Look, no one's getting plumped up like a Foster's chicken on prison
Isn't she
food.
like in a nice jail though? Isn't she in like a, one of the white collar jails where it's not like?
Well, this was when she was being held in July of 2020. She went in with a much thinner face, okay? And you're going to see here at the end, I believe, maybe it's the beginning, they zoom in on her face. It does not look anything like her, okay?
Here,
I'll
pause.
show you. I have an actual screenshot of it.
Okay.
So,
Well, cause I just think that I'm not saying it's impossible for the switch out stuff because like we've covered in the past, like with the CIA mask thing that people can really disguise as another person. But I'm just saying, what is the motivation? Like, is she not in jail and she's out there like still pulling the strings? She's still trafficking people? Like, is that what we're saying? Or I just don't understand fully the motivation behind that switch out. And then presenting, like, why does she even need to be on camera? Because it's been many years, I think, since. And that's why I'm a little bit still apprehensive about that theory is because, like, it's been many years since we've seen her and people age, like, she's, like, 65
yeah, but that
or something
video
like that. Yeah.
is from
like 5 years
2020
ago, right? That's
when she
6
went
years
in.
ago.
No, I know. So she should
people,
look
like-
exactly like she did when she was being deposed. And she doesn't.
What do you mean? This is, like, from, like, a couple weeks ago, right?
This one is, but that
This one right
video that was released is from the day that she went into prison.
So that's 5 years, 6 years ago.
Right. And she should have looked like she used to look. So
What do you mean? It's been 5 or 6 years. People age, right?
the video that I just showed is from 2020.
I know, but this one, this is from now because people are comparing this. You're comparing this to the other one, right?
Yes, but I'm also comparing the 2020 video to when she went into jail that day and how the faces look different. There's many different instances.
Oh, okay.
Where
Show
we're
me the
comparing.
2020 face again.
Let me see if I have it here.
Because I thought that because you're showing the 2026 to 2020, which I'm like, okay, yeah, people's, face could be much different.
Okay, hold on. Let me do a little research and get you.
She's researching. I think the chat, a lot of people saying that she's been swapped out. I'm an idiot. No. No, I think there's certainly we have to be open to everything because there's no transparency happening here. I'm just not seeing the full the full sort of motivation behind why they would switch her out. Okay, here's an analysis. Is that what you're talking about? But that's from a photo from a long time ago.
Well, this is, I think, close to 2020. I'm still looking for the 2020 pic. So you
Right,
can.
but let's just stay on this for a second. Let's just even say this.
Okay, well, that's what my
Okay, so
slideshow
they're
was about
saying
to do.
the nose is...
I'll go more detailed. Let's get back to my...
Because I've seen some pictures of old people like, oh, that's you and that's
Okay.
you from before. You know, okay, here we go.
Let's just take a look, okay? When you compare that photo of her,
Yeah.
okay, here's the nose. Sure, you could say the nose was broken in jail.
I'm not saying maybe she could have fattened her. The nose could have, like, as she gains weight, the nose could plump out.
Yeah, but where'd the tip go?
Well, it could be a shadow thing. What do you mean the tip? It's hard to see from this
A
angle.
shadow thing?
Yeah, it could be a
Okay.
lighting issue.
What about the eyes?
They look I mean,
They do not look similar. Also, where's this freckle? Where's this mole? Where did it go? I'll tell you one thing, noses might get bigger in jail, but freckles do not disappear. Okay? They do not. Looks like this Ghislaine Maxwell was wearing a cheap ass Amazon wig.
Is that right?
Yes.
Let's see it.
Boom.
No.
They didn't even do a good job with this. This is just my opinion. Let me pull up the ear picture. You can go back. You can read some comments on yourself.
All right. People are saying with certain facial features don't change no matter the weight. I lost 65 pounds. Ears and nose didn't change. I mean, I agree with that in general. Like some things stay the same. Here, oh, this is what? What do you got here?
So this is now looking at the ear line, okay?
Yeah.
And us in the rabbit holes in the conspiracy world have been noticing ears with body doubles for a long time. Mm-hmm. But most recently, Joe Biden.
Okay.
Okay, the ears were never the same. And now we have Ghislaine Maxwell with this side-by-side picture, and they take this red line and they put it directly under her eyes on that lower eyelid to show you where her ear is, okay? Your ears and your nose never stop growing. We know this from birth, but somehow Ghislaine's ears shrunk in the clink. They have shrunk.
Well, could that be just the angle of the camera? They're not placed. You have to position it at exactly the same height and distance away.
But they're placing the line at the same height of her eyes.
No, but the line can change because if I take a picture of you up here from a higher angle versus a lower angle, you could still have the same line across the eye, but your ear position.
But that doesn't look like they're taking it from a different angle.
It sort of does because this one seems to be from a lower angle. This one seems to be at a higher angle.
Okay.
I don't know. Hard to say.
Well,
Hard to say.
To answer your question, what is the motivation that they would get her out? Because
Yeah.
she's one of them.
Okay.
They don't want their people locked up. We know this. They're all out here.
Okay, so then they did a sham trial type of situation, and then they just swapped her out.
I don't know if she ever went in. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible because now that the DOJ filed, this is not pertaining to Maxwell, but now they're talking about they created an Epstein body double to like move him out of jail right that day. So the reporters followed one particular van. but then he was-
OCSM jail.
Yeah.
It's on record in the DOJ file saying that they created a fake body double as a decoy to get the media away. They used box and tissue papers, like, you know, when you were a little kid and you roll up a towel like you were still in bed.
That is interesting because why do they need to even do that? If the dude is dead, then why?
Right.
Why do you need a body double? Why do you need?
Well, they probably wouldn't. I'm saying they would say.
Yeah.
This isn't what I think.
Okay.
They would say that they don't want any sort of a car accident or anything to happen
But he's dead.
for the autopsy for legal reasons with the jail.
It's not like they conducted a very serious autopsy anyways, though. They would want a wreck to happen, right? It's like, oh, sorry, we can't do an autopsy anymore because the body's been mangled.
But who knows if,
So I'm still in that 1 to 5% category. It's like maybe he's potentially still alive. But I just think that's something that would be very difficult to cover up.
well,
That's, maybe I'm still, like I said, maybe I'm underestimating the situation here. But I think it'd be more difficult to cover up versus just killing him. I think killing him would have been the easier solution. It was just,
But-
why do you even, because the danger of the whole thing with Epstein and Maxwell is that if they're still alive, they can out a bunch of people. They can, like, let's say she can go back on Reddit. She could just, start posting shit, leading breadcrumbs for investigators, online sleuths to trace down who the bad guys are. Why would they even take that risk?
are you familiar with the mafia?
Yeah. What mafia? What do you mean?
Well, just the mafia.
Yeah, and they die. People die. People get killed.
Yeah, if you what?
If you go back, if you betray.
If you're a rat.
Exactly.
So if this is some sort of a mafia, you keep your mouth shut. We're going to get you out.
But we know.
But don't you dare squeal or you're done.
But we know for a fact that prior to, and this is in the records of the files, we know for a fact that Epstein was looking to make a deal with prosecutors right before he was unalived.
Yeah, well.
So it seemed like he was going to.
What a perfect time to get out.
But why would they, what do you mean? To me, it seemed like the safer solution in terms of protecting the elites would be to just kill these people. Not to smuggle them out and have them be free somewhere where they could cause all kinds of problems for them later. Why would they even
I think
deal with
that
this?
you're underestimating their importance in their gang.
What, these guys, these are the leaders? These are the queen bees? Because
They're definitely up there. They're definitely up there. Epstein is up there. He's working for the Rothschilds. He has been since apparently the 80s, according to Les Wexner.
But the Rothschilds, see, they would be the
Ghislaine
kingmaker.
Maxwell is the
These
daughter.
guys are just the minion. These guys are the troops that are out there implementing stuff. So I wouldn't say that they're, that high up in the hierarchical structure that you would want these guys to be roaming around free to potentially, cause problems.
Well, here's the thing. If they were out free, which there are drone footage that people believe is Jeffrey Epstein, right, on the island. There's been sightings of him around, right? And there's rumors and conspiracy theories that Adolf Hitler never died. That Adolf Hitler went to Argentina, which we know is a fact, that the CIA sent a lot of his Nazi scientists to Argentina. That's documented.
I do know that is documented, but
so this has been going on for a long time.
The Nazi scientist is very different than Adolf Hitler, and this is, these people hold tremendous amounts of knowledge that people obviously don't want out there in the public. Howard Lutnick, these guys, they don't want potential leaks, right? If he was still alive, Lutnick.
But you're making the assumption that if Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell are alive, that they're going to be ratting on everybody. I think that's a very normie take. Because if they're a part of a gang and they're getting out of jail and they know we're never going to really even go to jail, why would they rat? They're going to continue their operation from the shadows. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying is that they've made a deal. They're like, hey, you stay alive.
Long ago.
And you shut the fuck up, kind of thing. No, but I just think you don't 100% know for sure. The only 100% solution is if they're dead. That's what I would think. If I was the guy who could pull the strings like this, the only surefire way to guarantee my safety is for them to be dead.
The thing with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell is that everybody's very focused on the blackmail sex trafficking. But people are not as interested in his academic connections where he was bringing out Novinsky and Minsky and all of the fathers of AI to his ranch. The guy that, was able to clone the dire wolves and clone the woolly mammoths. He's into cloning. He's into AI. He's into transhumanism. He was performing experiments at Zorro Ranch. And a lot of the victims have said that they saw Jeffrey Epstein shapeshift into a reptile. And they have actually painted pictures of this. So it's like, I get where your mind is like, okay, well, he would be caught. He would be out there. But like, we don't know the capabilities of these people. We don't know what they were into. And, maybe often because of the blackmail sex operating ring, but what information and how integral is Jeffrey Epstein to the advancement of AI? He's in talks with Ehud Barak and Peter Thiel and world leaders. And it seems like he was, and this is 15, 20 years ago before. And now, of course, everybody's like, AI.
Sure. I mean, yeah. It was just hard for me to believe that they would need, even because you've said that Peter Thiel is a lizard creature type of.
Well, it's very interesting. He does not sweat.
And what I'm saying is he does sweat. There's that one clip of him.
No, he's oily. You'll never find a bead rolling down.
Oh, just oily. It's
an important thing.
What is it? A sheen.
That's,
But anyways, I guess my point is, I just would think that I don't think Epstein is. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I don't think Epstein is that high up where he's not replaceable. Like Peter Thiel, he'll just take over the AI. All these academic programs, other people, we'll move them forward. The other lizard creatures, as you have talked about, will move these things forward. They don't need Epstein to do it.
I think Joe6327, back on you, because I put the chat there, made a great point.
Okay.
They're not pulling the strings. They are the strings.
Okay. Elaborate. What does that mean?
It means they're calling the shots.
They.
Epstein, Ghislaine.
Okay.
So it's not like they're fearing for their lives. Just like Epstein made those calls, to Chase Bank and Bear Stearns while he was in prison. He was somebody that was the strings. He's making decisions in a lot of these groups. I think we got another super chat. This is Ryan Burton. Can only say by mail, nothing by electronics. Well, Ryan, I'm going to be contacting you. Slide into my DMs, WFF News. And
she will give you an address.
I will. A P.O. box for my safety.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Ghislaine. A YouTube journalist used AI voice, if you want to click to this first, used AI voice and facial recognition tool to compare Ghislaine Maxwell's voice from her 2015 testimony with her 2026 testimony. Of course, she had like a British accent.
There's nothing inappropriate or incorrect about that. And your mischaracterization of it, I think is...
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related question.
And your mischaracterization of it, I think is... there's nothing inappropriate or...
Yeah, it sounds a little bit different.
Kind of like the ears, right? A little off. The ears are a little off. The voice is a little off. The nose is a little off.
It's a little...
The eyes are a little off. It's just...
You're not wrong. It's a little bit off. There's something weird. And, I'm just going to put that in my...
Incorrect.
I don't know what to call this. I'm going to put that in my memory bank.
Yeah, file it away.
File it away.
Have little St. James up there. Put it in the file.
Yeah.
And then, it's all good.
And I'm not, opposed to I just think that there's other... Maybe it's I leave that to investigators like you. And I stay at more the level where I'm trying to hopefully better the lives of regular Americans that, are struggling out there. And I'm giving them the tools that they need to combat the evilness that is out there. Because, if you tell us, okay, she's alive, she's not alive, there's nothing people can really do about it other than, it's okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, then how do you like take on these people? You know, how do we dismantle this structure?
Yeah. Well, I think you have to learn how to kill vampires and reptilians first, right? And then,
or is it
we
just
could go
that
from
we
there.
can find some better vampires and reptilians that are more benevolent? Can we?
I do think that there's good and evil in all races,
Yeah.
including aliens.
Right. It's weird to talk about, you know, make a metaphor out of this. It's not like, for example, like if we're going to go to war and stuff like that, you know, it's bad. Like I oppose all of those things fundamentally, but I do think they would be able to get away with more of that stuff if they just build a few more roads and bridges in the U.S., fix some hospitals, and people would care less about that. That's just my cynical take on it.
Yeah. No, it's true. But again, they don't care about us. They underestimate our intelligence. That's why they're not trying to hide it. That's why the FedEx account is still active. That's why if they pop up being seen, you know, out of jail, it's like, that crazy bitch. Another conspiracy theorist.
Yes. Have we seen? Okay, so to kind of wrap up the Ghislaine Maxwell, because you talked about people have had random sightings of Epstein over the years, very grainy footage you can't really see. But for Maxwell, have we seen footage of Maxwell just kind of roaming about, or is that?
Not that
yet.
I know of, but I mean, to me, you know, as someone who owns many wigs.
I haven't seen you in one wig.
Well.
Or are you wearing one right now?
No. This is my real hair. And, you know, in order to put on a wig, it's very difficult because you have to pull it back really tight. And you can't even do a bun because then you get that cone head. So you have to, like, it's a whole thing. But you can make yourself look very differently. I could make myself look very different with a different hairstyle, color hair, glasses, different makeup, no makeup. I mean, no makeup, you'd be like, holy shit.
In a good way or what?
No. You'd be like, who the fuck is this? As my grandma would say, you have to put your face on in the morning. So anyways, I'm just saying, I feel like for a female, it's very easy to be somebody else if you want to be.
Yeah. Not wrong. I mean, for a guy too, you grow out a beard. You know,
I mean, you
it's a whole
with
thing.
and without the bucket hat.
Without the bucket hat, I feel like
Hair done and bucket hat, two different people.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm trying to introduce a few videos here and there where I show off. I do have hair. Still.
A different hat.
A different hat. But anyways, okay. So aliens. I know.
Well, do you want to get into the Howard Lutnick stuff first?
The Howard Lutnick. Like, what do we need? Because Howard Lutnick, we can save him for last because he's. What do you want to say
that's
about
fine.
Howard Lutnick?
I'm
Because I do
happy
want to make
about
sure that
that.
we have time for the aliens. Because Howard Lutnick, yeah, he's a horrible human being, this and that. But I do want to hear about the aliens because this has now been brought to the forefront of the national conversation by our president, Donald J. Trump, in the tweet yesterday.
Yes. So
Right.
for a very long time, I and many others in the conspiracy world have been warning people that aliens will be used as a major distraction. This is written in CIA documents going back to, I think, the 60s or the 70s, and it's referred to as Project Bluebeam. Okay?
So when you say it's specifically there to be a distraction,
There are documents in declassified CIA documents that say that they could use aliens in a way to scare the public basically into submission using holograms and different types of technology. And so I actually did a story back in August and I said, remember there was the Atlas III comet or alien ship that might have arrived in December?
I don't recall that, but go ahead.
I mean, all the Harvard scientists, everybody was talking about this. And I did a video in August. I'm like, oh, you guys, Epstein files are talked about being released. Like, what do you know? A huge spaceship might be arriving to Earth right around the same time. What a distraction. And so here we are. The Epstein files are out. They tried with the Savannah Guthrie Psyop, right? Fox News has not talked about the Epstein files at all. TMZ, who's in the Epstein files as being a great outlet for their media. Nope, not talking about the Epstein files. What are they talking about? Who kidnapped Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy? On and on and on. No one gives a fuck. No one's paying attention. Cue the aliens. So, actually, before I bring this up, this started with Barack Obama about 5 days ago. Barack Obama went on a podcast. And remember, everybody's so, Barack Obama's left and Trump's right. No. We know from the files one thing, and it's that they all work together. This is Barack Obama on a podcast. Watch this.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
I want to talk to you about aliens.
Yeah.
Types of interviews. Because that's Brian Tyler Cohen. He's like a Democrat mouthpiece kind of guy. Don't like those. I mean, they're just like, oh, what did you know, it's like just trying to like bro it up with Obama. You know, it's a little bit like ick. Gives me the ick.
Okay, well, there you go. So another ick, Laura Trump then comes out 2 days after that, and she's being interviewed, and she says this.
Around that, I think he's actually said, I think my father-in-law's actually said it, that there is some speech that he has that I guess at the right time, and I don't know when the right time is, he's going to break out and talk about, and it has to do with maybe some sort of extraterrestrial life, so to speak.
Who do you work for, Michael?
Do you think that he's about to make...
So
so
these droppings have been happening over the
week.
This
is like a planned thing where people are now ginning up some interest in aliens. This is like, hey, let's drop one here, let's drop there, let's different audiences, let's drop one to the left, let's drop one on the right, let's get people talking about this again. And here we are talking about it.
Well, no. And so I said, here we go. They're going to cue the alien. So that's how it started. Then Trump was asked about it on Air Force One. And he basically says, Obama shouldn't have been doing that. Obama shouldn't have been doing that. To make it seem like we're not on the same side. You know, he shouldn't have done that.
I would love to have China and Russia. They've been invited. Yeah.
Something that got a lot of...
You need both. You need all persuasions. No discrimination.
Something that got a lot of attention this week. Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, the president can declassify anything that he wants to,
well,
so if you want to make an announcement.
Trouble. I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals. What else?
He shouldn't have been doing that. He shouldn't have been doing that. I might get him out of trouble. Really? You're going to get Obama out of trouble? That's so crazy. I think he actually should be doing it. And it's all a part of the show that we're watching. Because then, last night, out of nowhere, President Trump posts this on Truth Social. Based on the tremendous interest shown...
No, you got to do it in his accent. Based on the tremendous interest shown...
Please,
you directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena. Some would say they're called UAPs, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. That was horrible. But
it had a little bit of a British tone. So he releases this last night, okay? And a few hours after that, Caltech astrophysicist fatally shot on porch in his rural SoCal home where he studied the stars, okay? Astrophysicist, okay? This is the guy.
What's his name?
His name is Carl Grillmeyer, 67 years old. Okay? And it's important to note that at Caltech manages NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. How crazy is that? So while JPL itself is a NASA facility, it operates under Caltech's wing. And Carl Grillmeyer worked heavily with NASA because his work as a researcher was used for all of NASA's stuff. His studies focused on exoplanets, okay? But this is what I found out this morning, which blew my mind. Bob Lazar, we all know him. He was the whistleblower in 1989. He's been on the Joe Rogan show many times, who said he worked at Area 51. And he said that during his time at Area 51, he discovered element 115 and that was fuel for jet propulsion systems. Well, element 115 wasn't discovered then. So everybody said he's a crazy conspiracy nut. There's no such thing as element 151. Well, guess what? It turns out that Carl Grillmeyer didn't just do research at Caltech, but he actually attended graduate school there. That's where he went to earn his PhD. And Bob Lazar, well, of course, you know, there's no record of this, but Bob Lazar did his undergraduate at MIT, according to him, and did his graduate school at where? Caltech.
But do they overlap?
Well, what do you know? They're the exact same age.
So they went to the same program together, you're saying?
They went to the same program together, which, by the way, these are small programs. Bob Lazar is known for talking about element 115 years before it was discovered. Then, 15 years later, in 2004, Russian scientists working with Americans discovered element 115. 15 years after Bob Lazar said that it was being used as fuel for jet propulsion systems. Now you have this guy killed, murdered. How many Caltech astrophysicists are murdered, let alone hours after President Trump says, release the government alien files, same exact age as Bob Lazar. They could have gone to school together. Did they know each other? What did he know? Why was he murdered?
Well, if they're talking about releasing the files, why would they be murdering this guy? And why wouldn't they murder Bob Lazar? Isn't he like the one that has the most knowledge about all this alien stuff?
So back in the day, they didn't murder him because they were able to use conspiracy theorist, which was a derogatory word back then, and people believed that, right? And there was no element 115, and a lot of the things that he said were just so far out there in 1989. People just thought, this guy is a nut, right? And so that was the way that happened. And to murder him would actually make it seem like there was something there. But to just let him run wild is something else. Now, you said, why would they murder Carl Grillmeyer?
Yeah.
Well, because whatever they're going to release in these files with the aliens...
It's bullshit.
Well, I don't know, but if it doesn't align with what the scientists studying exoplanets outside of this galaxy know to be true, then that would be very problematic for the administration, wouldn't it?
It could be problematic. I mean, yeah, I suppose it's very dicey. I'm just doing some background research. They have not caught the suspect, I guess.
No, they've detained a 27-year-old. But why this guy has a family?
29-year-old Freddie Snyder has been, I guess, arrested as a suspect. So they did this came out 15 minutes ago from The Guardian that they have arrested somebody.
Yeah, just like George Zinn was arrested at Charlie Kirk's UVU assassination.
Let's see. What did
Doesn't mean shit. Like they have somebody in custody.
But what was he like? Was he working on like alien stuff?
No. He wasn't. He was the academic guy. He was an astrophysicist who his research went to NASA's work. He happened to do research at the exact same university where NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory is.
Okay, here's another thing to bring up as well that people are talking about is that this comes out 2 months after the death of Nuno Loureiro. Loureiro? I don't know how to say his name. Nuno Loureiro. a Massachusetts Institute of Technology physicist, and that was around the nuclear stuff. Like, he was some nuclear physicist, and he was like very suspiciously taken out for unknown reasons as well.
It's like Obama's chef.
I don't know who that is, but
Obama's chef, who worked with him for like 5-6 years, who was like an avid swimmer and has Instagram videos of him doing the butterfly, all of a sudden one day ends up drowning at Martha's Vineyard on a paddleboard when all of this stuff starts coming out.
Yeah, so it does seem like some people are these. So you think these are kind of like signals that are being sent out to kind of like warn people?
No,
because you can't take them all out. I mean, there's other people. I mean, he has other people working for him. Other people have the same knowledge that he has. You can't eliminate everybody.
I don't think anybody's paying attention to this story.
What do you mean?
The Caltech story, the Caltech astrophysicist fatally shot. No one's going to talk about this except for like me. I'm talking
well,
about it.
Well, it's on the news. I mean, the Guardian has it up in the reporting.
They do 45, 55, 105 stories a day. They reported it, but nobody's linking it to the alien stuff, Bob Lazar, everything else. They just go on and they just fucking off people because they don't want them running their mouths. This is your theory with Jeffrey Epstein.
That's what I'm saying. Well, what I'm saying is that this is a signal to the rest of the community, because he's not the only astrophysicist that exists. Like the other guy too. It's like, hey, there's some, because that I can't remember exactly what was going on, but there was some development in like nuclear technology or something that there was a motive to kill him. There seems to be a motive to kill this dude Carl Grillmeyer here, but you can't get them all. So it's like a signal to say, guys,
maybe no one's going to pay attention to Carl Grillmeyer. I certainly am, because the timing I don't believe is a coincidence. And the difference between Carl being offed and Jeffrey Epstein being out and alive is that Carl's not in the club.
Right, because Carl's just doing his job.
Carl's just, But I do find it very interesting that he's the exact same age as Bob Lazar, that the Jet Propulsion Laboratory of NASA's is at Caltech, that Bob Lazar claimed he went and did his graduate studies at Caltech, that they're the exact same age. Now, of course, that's controversial, because even though Bob Lazar has I think a newspaper clipping of him being at Caltech, his administration or his admissions and his attendance has been wiped. And he's talked about that on Joe Rogan's podcast. And I believe they have been able to go back and pull these articles, back in the, early 80s, that says Bob Lazar, Caltech student. But then they say, oh, no, that was a typo. He was never there. But if he was, it's a small program. It's a small group of people working in the same fields. I just wonder what Carl knew. Because what's the motive for murder?
Well, the motive for murder, like you said, would be that he knows he's maybe the most knowledgeable about this particular topic. And if they're going to release some alien files, he would be one of those people that could debunk potentially. That's what you're saying, right? He could refute some of the claims made by the Trump administration as far as like what the files are saying, possibly. Is that's sort of the theory, right? He knows something that he doesn't want to get out there. But the question is, could other people do the same thing?
Well, that's why I tied it to Bob Lazar, because if they were friends or something, Bob Lazar's a recluse.
Yeah. I mean, this guy doesn't seem, let's go back to that picture. This guy doesn't seem too, I don't want to judge by people's appearance, but he doesn't seem to be out there too much. He seems to be like he's going to his lab and he's going home.
So he actually, most of his research was done on the Hubble Space Telescope.
I mean, he lived in the remote Southern California's Antelope Valley because it allowed him to study the stars at night easily. So he's like out there alone. He's not going to any Epstein parties. Okay, he's not going to any elite. He's not running in those elite circles.
No, but maybe he's running with Bob, and that would be a big problem.
Well, I think we should.
Lee783 said, Dani, remember the Brown University shooter also shot a guy that was an MIT professor for nuclear fusion. I think that was a few months ago. I think that's what you're talking about,
That's
right?
the Nuno guy that I'm talking about.
Yes.
Nuno Lauriero, I think.
Why can I never clip on these? Also, I think we have another super chat. How do I get this one off? Why can't I click it?
I don't know.
Why can't I click? But we're gonna bring the super chat in a second. Trude, we're 81. It starts with biblical theology. Theology matters, and bad theology hurts people. Start at the 5 solas. Grace and peace, y'all. We, the people, and team humanity. I need to screenshot that. I don't know.
Explain, yeah.
I can't. So we're going to have to go back and look at that. But I think some really weird shit's going on. And I don't think this is going to be a big thing.
Well, look, you are at the forefront of this reporting, so you should stay on this case. You should follow up, go track down the police and be like, hey, what's going on with this investigation? Who are you arresting? Who's tied to this case? Is it because obviously this guy is not Charlie Kirk, so there's going to be less attention paid to like
especially
the
if all
decoys
of a
and
sudden it's released today that we have uncovered an alien species, some gray long body matter with a big head and no one's going to give a fuck about Carl. I mean, I do. I care, and I think there's something there. But we know how fast the news cycle goes and how quickly even big stories get washed over. Huge stories. So,
but overall, though, you were saying we introduced this in the way that this is a psyop, right? The alien thing is a distraction in general.
And you can't have a good psyop and lead the public the direction you want it to go if there's people in the academic world coming out and saying, that's not true.
But
it ruins the whole thing.
Well, maybe, but this is just me thinking out loud, is that academics are not like at their highest level of trust nowadays, right? It's like, oh, this is a guy that he's a establishment professor. So he's protecting the establishment. He doesn't want the truth to get out, and he's lying to us, right? I mean, many through COVID, right? All these doctors that are out there being experts.
Yeah, but
really
in this
tarnished
situation,
the academic brand.
In this situation, if you're going to use COVID as an analogy, you had Robert Malone, who was one of the fathers of mRNA technology, completely silenced.
Yes, they silenced some.
Him,
yes.
And they told us that he was a quack.
Right, so...
And he was trying to warn everybody that this mRNA technology is new and that it changes your mitochondria and that it is still in its test phase, and maybe we should not be delivering this to the masses.
They should have taken care of Robert Malone as well.
I'm saying Carl, could be
not Carl
Peter
Malone.
McCullough.
Carl Malone. I said Carl Malone, which is like the basketball player from the Utah Jazz many years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Robert Malone, I'm sorry. They could have offed him as well. You're saying to be...
I'm sure they made a mistake. I'm sure they feel they made a mistake. And Peter McCullough and these doctors that went out. You don't want the alien files to come out from the government, and then Joe Rogan goes and talks to this astrophysicist and he says, hey, I have actually different information.
Yeah,
because then it throws a wrench in the narrative.
It does throw a wrench in the narrative. But I would, because this story just broke today, right? So I would have to follow this for a little bit to see if there's any more weirdness out of this, because I do think that there's a bit of a risk in like killing people. Like anytime you kill somebody, there's a bit of a risk involved, right? If you can silence somebody without killing them, you would do it in that way. You would try to maybe tarnish his reputation, do this and that before killing him. So I don't know if they have done that with this guy and he just like, hey, I'm just going to do what I want to do and I'm going to say what I want to say. I just think anytime because there's going to be a cleanup process with any sort of inside job murder. And you could see right now with the Charlie Kirk situation, right, for those of people who believe that the official story is not true, you could see how they're having a really hard time cleaning that up because there's so many inconsistencies in the story.
Well, and Charlie Kirk is being investigated by everybody and the public and online sleuths. Unfortunately, when it comes to Carl, they can easily plant a bag of coke on his property, a bag of crack, and they can say he's out in the middle of nowhere. This guy had lost it, and a druggie came out there in the middle of the night. He couldn't see anybody because there's no light pollution in the middle of Antelope Valley, and he fucking offed him for the bag of crack. And it's all done, and it's over with. It's easy. It's brushed under the rug. And like I said, the news cycle, this is going to be a nothing, but it shouldn't be.
Right. I agree with you there that all of these stories should be followed up on. That's why we have Private Eye Dani here on the case.
You almost got it right, but it's Inch High Private Eye.
Oh, okay. Inch Eye Private Eye.
Inch High.
Inch High.
Because I'm 5 feet. That's why. Inch High Private Eye. That's me.
Yes. So you're on the case. And
I'm on the case, and I'm well trained. I have a very extensive investigative background. I don't know if you know this.
Tell me.
In college, anytime we needed to look up somebody's boyfriend or someone that they liked, they would come to me. I could find anything. I was that bitch that would be like, who are we looking into today?
And you would be able to like comb through all the social media postings and this and
yes.
that. Yeah.
And I think that is more dangerous than an actual training.
Well, look, that's what we call, this is what the term for that is, like OSINT.
Yes.
Investigator.
I'm using that now.
Yes. And people are doing that with Erica Kirk, right? She's now a lesbian, potentially.
I haven't even seen that one.
You haven't seen this?
No.
What?
I have not.
You haven't seen all the stuff where she's like posting all these like thirsty comments on this multiple girls' Instagram?
No.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We have another super chat. $20 from Stella, 2025. So good to see you. Okay, hear me out. God exists. We live in a firmament. Aliens are demons. And, quote, people are child-eating lizards. LOL. Where the F are we in life? This is probably the craziest time that ever existed. Thank you so much. I love this chat. And hey.
Translate, please translate for the...
God exists 100%. I think we're in a spiritual world. We live in a firmament, which means it's a flat earth belief. In the Bible, it says in the firmament, and, that's basically a flat earth with, like, a closed... aliens or demons. I personally think there's good aliens and bad aliens. And people, quote unquote, are child-eating lizards, meaning, like, we have these reptilian species that are among us. And basically just saying, like, we're living in the craziest time in life. Why can I never get these off? Also, someone said, what the fuck, Dani? And I'm not sure what that's in regards to, but somebody also way up in the chat said something. They said, why is Dani wearing a tablecloth today? And I just would like to address that comment and say, I'm offended. I'm allowed to wear floral patterns. This is not a tablecloth. Fuck off. No, I'm just kidding. I love you. But, like, it's not a tablecloth.
I mean, to me, that doesn't look like a tablecloth. It looks more like a curtain, like one, if I may.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the Todayish show permanently because that is just not okay. A curtain.
Right? You know what I'm talking about? Like a floral curtain. It's very pretty. You've seen those.
Have you ever heard stop while you're ahead?
Oh,
Stop
I'm already behind.
While you're ahead.
I'm already behind.
I don't want to hear. You guys are making me feel like Kim Kardashian at the Met Gala when she was pregnant with Northwest, and actually the patterns are similar. I'm not going to lie. And I said she looked like a couch. I will show you that pattern. I don't know. I'm doing this to myself.
I mean, I think, you don't have to explain yourselves to people. You wear where the fuck you want, Oh, this is the photo you're looking at? Okay, here we go.
They called her a couch, that it was a grandma couch print.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I could see that, but...
More of a curtain.
It's not, no, I could see, I know exactly what kind of couch they're talking about, too, and it's not... maybe JD would want to get involved in this kind of thing as well, but
oh gosh.
but hey, there's always going to be haters out there, so who cares?
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't need to
If that's the worst
yourselves.
I'm getting,
looks more like a rug. Some people are saying.
It's great. Thanks. Anyways, we are going to be getting off here pretty soon. So I think for our 33rd episode, we should end with some weird 33 stuff. We know that is a number that the Freemasons and the elites use coded all the time, right?
And I've been told that they need to like throw out these numerology references just to let people know. It's like a signal.
Well, and like Kash Patel.
Right. 33
and Charlie
hours.
Kirk. Yes. Yes.
This kind of thing. It's like, why do you even need to say that?
Well, this is our friend John Weiber did a video yesterday. This is deep into numerology, okay?
Yes. Who will be on the show in a couple weeks' time.
Yes. We love him. He did this story yesterday. Let's watch this.
Remember that time that bloody white horse escaped from Buckingham Palace? That was 666 days ago, to the day that Prince Andrew was arrested on his 66th birthday. 33. Why? Every time with this 33 bullshit. What are they trying to tell us?
Well, what are they trying to tell us with that?
Well, obviously, 666. I don't even like to say the number. Light. Is, the number of Satan and the devil and, it's very bad. Do you remember when that white horse escaped Buckingham Palace, or was this not on your radar?
This was not on my radar whatsoever.
BD.
What does that mean?
Before Dani.
Before. No, I was not looking at that. So like that happened 666 days ago, I guess?
Yes. 666 days ago. They arrested Prince Charles on his 66th birthday.
Prince Andrew.
What'd I say, Charles?
Yeah.
His brother. Super, super weird. So.
Pull up that TPUSA flag. Speaking of Charlie Kirk. You've seen this.
No.
Count the number of stars.
I don't. I'm just going to take your word for it. But 33.
33 stars.
Very weird.
There's 50. I mean, like, why would you make a flag with 33 stars?
That's very, 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 very weird. I have never seen this. Very weird.
Right? Why don't you use the right amount of stars?
And Stella said 33 is them mocking God and the Trinity because Jesus Christ was 33 when he died. So it's a very strong biblical number, 33 is, and so is 3.
3.
And so it's like all of these things, when you look at it, like this is good versus evil and this is the world that we're living in. It's like, that's why I said that I believe there's good aliens and bad aliens. Like, now I don't know about reptiles. I think they're all bad. But, it's like there's real clouds and then there's chemtrails.
Yeah.
There's the number 3 in the Bible and in scripture. And then there's the Freemasons and the elites using these numbers.
Okay, gosh. So they're co-opting things that were once good.
It's kind of like, and I'm going to get dragged for saying this a little bit. I already know. God, I just can't help myself. The rainbow.
Okay.
Right? People believe that the rainbow was co-opted for LGBTQ, when in the Bible, the rainbow is a symbol from God to Noah after the flood that I will never harm humans and flood the earth again.
Oh, interesting. So okay. And what would be the motive to take over a symbol like that?
Well, it's a very important symbol in the Bible, and so it would be so that the masses think of the rainbow related to LGBTQ and not to God and Noah.
Oh, isn't there something with the Nazi symbol, how they took a religious symbol as well and then flipped it on its side?
Probably.
Right? This is what from my understanding, like, because I don't know anything about this, because I think when you go to like India, that symbol is like all over the place, and people are like, whoa, are these like Nazis? But then they're like, no, this is like a religious symbol. Maybe the chat knows.
Let us know, chat. But then you have Howard Lutnick. We've had videos resurface this week of him talking about how he escaped the World Trade Centers.
Oh, yeah.
And that the average age of the victims that worked for him were 33. Watch this.
The needs of these young families. Many of your traders were just in their 30s.
We've got the average employee we have is around 33 years old. So they're just married. We have probably a dozen women who are pregnant with babies who just lost their husbands. We've got lots and lots and lots and lots. We must have more than 1,000 children, 1,500 children who've now lost one of their parents.
Okay, we don't need to play the whole thing. The point is, average age 33.
Average age 33. And I just looked up the Nazi swastika thing. It was appropriated from an ancient benevolent symbol of good fortune, divinity, and spirituality used for thousands of years in Hinduism and Buddhism.
Crazy. So it also is a positive symbol turned negative, right?
Yes. So it's all about taking over these.
It's about evil trying to take away the good in the world.
Well, let's not have that happen because that's not ideal, I would say. So
also,
yeah.
Remember this guy?
No.
Shane Tamura?
No.
He was the shooter in New York. Remember last year?
The guy that went into the BlackRock building or Blackstone building?
Yep. And where was that located?
He was 33 years old or something, or no?
He went to the 33rd floor.
Yes.
Every shooting, there's a 33 every single time. This one was extremely weird with the numerology. And just to bring up, the Freemasons, the number 33 is significant primarily in the Scottish Rite. 33 degree being an honorary degree awarded to those who have made significant contributions to the fraternity or society.
Wow.
And there's all of these people. I think it's like, I don't know.
So what are we doing with the
80
number
or
33
80
here?
or 90% of the presidents in the United States are Freemasons.
80 to 90%.
It's a large portion.
Wow.
That's might be an exaggeration.
Here, let's do it. Let's check that out here. How many presidents in U.S. history were Freemasons? Let's take a look.
And of course, this number is going to be less because it's AI and they stopped kind of announcing it. But in the beginning, they were like all Freemasons.
Right. So do you think Freemasons today have more or less power than they did, let's say, in the 1800s?
Sorry, I just was reading a chat saying I'm going to end up like Jim Carrey. What?
My question was, do you think Freemasons are more powerful today, or were they more powerful back in the 1800s?
Well, if, all of these people are Freemasons, then more powerful today.
Okay, so it says 14 presidents were Freemasons. But those are all from, that's what I'm saying, there's from a while ago.
Yes, but there's
Gerald Ford, they said, was the last president who was a Freemason. But this is all based on, they're not tracking it anymore, basically.
Well, I mean, there's videos of President Trump in Scotland at, the Freemason place getting an honor, a medal. There's people are they all are.
Like Bill Clinton's Freemason, probably.
I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying,
allegedly.
They were tracking it in the beginning, and, obviously you have the Freemason sign here on our U.S. dollar, right? There's the eye.
I learned about that from National Treasure. How accurate is that in terms of the Freemason?
I haven't watched that.
What?
Or if I did, it was a long time ago.
Movies of all time.
I mean, look. So, anyways.
So, if you want access to this Canva, sign up for that Patreon. Okay. Look at this. I mean, how many things are in that Canva slide?
A lot, because I do all of my backgrounds in Canva.
Yeah.
So then I am just now plugging those in for our show. So I just had to go back to June or July. So I personally have
thousands of Canvas?
Yes.
Wow.
Slideshows.
They're tracking. That Canva is not a secure place.
And then what did I do here?
You may end up. What are they, like Jim Carrey?
No, we don't put that out in the world. Okay. Also, with Prince Andrew, 6 unmarked police cars with plainclothes officers arrived to arrest him on his 66th birthday. People are just going crazy with the 6s around Prince Andrew. And I think a lot of people and by a lot of people, I should say, I feel like I am going to be paying attention to if Prince Andrew gets out of jail and if they take pictures of him in jail, is he going to still look like this motherfucker?
Oh, I see. You're saying he may be potentially body
Austin
doubled.
Powers, Ghislaine Maxwell, Timu Prince Andrew.
Well, these masks should be getting good, right? We shouldn't be able to tell. Don't you think?
Look, it's again one of those, I don't think they care. I think it's actually good when we do this for them because it's like, who knows what's real and what's not? Because you have all these people distracting the public. And I, hope we're not,
Well, with that, thank you
but
so much for tuning into the show this week.
Yes. Thank you so much. We love you guys. I don't love the chat saying that I'm on a list.
Well, you might be surpassing because I'm only on the Israel list. That's a low-level list now, I understand. You're on a list that is much more dangerous potentially. I don't know.
I mean,
I only have one country after you. You have secret societies. You have all this. We don't know. Unmarked vans.
The only list I want to be on is Heaven's list. Okay?
And those aren't mutually exclusive lists from my understanding, right? You could be on both lists.
I could.
Most people are.
Probably.
Yeah. So, you better be careful out there. You better be careful.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for our super chatters. It's been a great live. And I will now be leaving the studio wearing my coat so nobody has to see my drape shirt.
Hey, isn't that like the Inspector Gadget looking like Inch Eye? You are now assuming the role here. Hold on a second.
Hold on. Wait, do I have a magnifying glass?
I don't have one in here. You have a wooden gun. Is this helpful?
Oh my God. I almost did the sign.
Yeah.
That was a magnifying glass. FYI. But yes, this is my, what is it called?
It's a trench coat?
Keep digging, Watson. Sherlock Holmes.
Yes. Trench coat. Anyways, thank you so much to the Patreon members. Thank you so much for the YouTube subscribers. If you're listening on Apple, you're listening on all the other podcast platforms, thank you so much. We will be back next week.
Danny Colombo signing off. Let us know what you think about all of this down below.